What's up guys, how you doing? Welcome to another video, and today we're talking about one of the most exciting things that I've been looking at the moment, at least for me, and that is the Canon R7. Whilst the Canon R7 isn't technically announced, it feels pretty much guaranteed that it is coming very soon, and some rumours even suggest it might be coming as soon as next month. Whether it is or not, there are loads of rumours now circulating about it, some of which seem to come from some very reliable sources. So what I thought I'd try and do in this video is bring together all of the rumours and gossip that I've been looking at and share it in one place to try and make it a bit easier for you guys. That's right, it's another episode of Rob's Photo Gossip. Before we get into the detail of everything that I've pulled together, I'm going to ask you guys to do all the usual stuff for me. Make sure you hit that like button, helps me out on my channel so much. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Loads of other videos to come. Right, let's get into this. Let's talk about the Canon R7. So, ever since Canon started to release their mirrorless range, starting off of course with the EOS R and the EOS RP, moving on from there to the R5, the R6, more recently the R3, the supposedly rumoured upcoming R1, and also there's rumours now on an R8, an R9, and of course the R7. It also seems like we'll be getting like an EOS R Mark II or something similar to that effect very soon as well. But long-time Canon fans, and especially long-time users of the Canon 7D Mark II, have been eagerly awaiting the announcement of Canon's new APS-C crop sensor mirrorless camera. And it seems as though the R7 is going to be just that. I know loads of people like me were upset when we heard officially there was going to be no Canon 7D Mark III. Well, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the chance to move forward from those of you still loving your 7D Mark II, still using it, but maybe thinking about moving to the mirrorless range. This could be the one for you. So where have I got all my information from? Well, I've got it from quite a few sources. So look, it's important to me. I'm not going to try and pretend this is my information. I want to share where I got it from. So right here, this is all the different places that I've pulled together the information. Got to say canonrumours.com, probably the main one, but these other sources too. So go check those out if you want to. So I'm going to kind of break it down into sections. I'm going to look at sort of different things and different rumours I've heard, and perhaps then compare those to some other cameras to look at what we think could be the most likely. First of all, let's talk about the physical camera body itself. Now, whilst there are kind of mock-up pictures that people have done that could be the R7, it doesn't feel like we've necessarily got much detail on this. My suspicions though, and in all honesty I think it's probably quite likely, is that it is going to follow a very similar body type to the Canon R6. When the EOS R first came out, it had the screen that you get on the top, as does the R5, as does the R3, whereas the R6 doesn't, and I imagine that's going to be one of the things that we will also see with the R7. I imagine the body type to be more like the R6. I doubt it's going to have the screen on the top. I would be expecting a body very similar to that R6 as opposed to the R5, which some people I've seen have, oh, I hope it has the top screen. I don't think it will. I think we're going to see an R6 style body for the R7. I imagine it's going to be a very similar size. I mean, of course, the actual sensor is likely to be a bit smaller, but I imagine the body itself will be about the same size. Okay, let's move on from there to the autofocus system. Now, I've seen lots of things about this. People have been saying, oh, I hope it's the same autofocus system as the R3. And I suppose that there's a chance it could be, but I imagine more likely, I think we will see the same autofocus system as has been used in the R5 and R6. When the 7D Mark II got released, it had the same autofocus system as the 1DX. And so it would kind of make sense that Canon kind of keeps that next level autofocus system from the R3. We'll probably see that in the R1 as well, and I imagine the system from the R5, R6 is probably what we're going to see in the R7. Now, that isn't exactly a bad thing. While some people might love the autofocus system of the R3, and it does sound fantastic, the autofocus on the R6 is absolutely next level. Really is. Blows my 1DX away, so I'm going to be totally fine if that is the autofocus system that we see in the R7. Okay, moving from there into the sensor size. How many megapixels is that sensor gonna have? I've seen rumours of it being 20, I've seen someone saying 45, and I've seen what I think is the most likely is a 32.5 megapixel sensor. That for me, for the crop sensor, probably sounds about right. Plus Canon have experience of using that type of sensor in the EOS M6 Mark II, I think it was, that came out in 2019. That had a 32.5 megapixel sensor. So whilst we don't seem to have too much information about this, if I was a gambling man, I would say 32.5 megapixel sensor is probably the most likely. So moving into the price point. Now, lots of talk about the price point, and I suppose it's very hard to tell. So what I've done is I've looked at the prices of some of the other Canon cameras at the moment, and I've also taken a look. So Sony's flagship APS-C sensor mirrorless camera right now is the Sony Alpha A6600. Now that camera right now you can pick up for about £1,250. That's UK pound sterling. That camera was released at about the 1499 mark. So I'm guessing that the R7 might be around that same price. I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't creep slightly higher if I saw a price of like £1,750, so kind of more like the $2,000 mark. I wouldn't be surprised about that, but personally I'm still holding out hopes that it might be a little bit cheaper, even just a couple of £100 cheaper than that, and we will be happy. I think if it was priced much higher than that, then you're starting to push into the R6 market, and that probably is unlikely because I think they will be trying to price this slightly below their kind of other fast action full frame mirrorless cameras. And I know people might be saying the new, I think it's the new RP, there's rumours that might be priced at like £800, but that isn't going to be as suitable for fast action as like the R6, so I think they will try to position that price point just below the R6. So if I was a betting man, I would say £1,500. Okay, so then we're going to move into lenses. Now, there's a lot of talk about this again right now. Of course, previously, for their crop bodies, Canon had a whole range of EFS lenses to go alongside their EF mount lenses. Now, initially, when Canon started to launch their RF mount lenses, people seemed to feel like, yeah, but they're not going to have, you know, specialist crop sensor lenses to go along the RF range. They've got the EF, the EFS, the RF, and it seemed like a lot. But Canon have now officially confirmed that they will be discontinuing the EF and the EFS mount lenses. So that kind of opens the market to create that range of lenses. Will we see an RFS range of lenses? I think there's a very good chance we will. But that said, you can now get a couple of affordable RF mount lenses like the 50mm f1.8, the 24-105. There are some affordable lenses out there, so I don't think buyers of the R7 are going to be left too short of options to start with. Plus, of course, with the adapter, we know that the EF lenses work really, really well. Okay, so how's about the release date? That seems to be the big talking point right now. Well, one of my sources, Canon Rumours, suggested that they had heard through an industry insider that we might see that Canon R7 as soon as next month, March 2022. However, in the photography industry, it's been widely documented that there are manufacturing challenges right now, largely caused by the shortage of chips. Now, that's very likely to push back the release dates of pretty much any camera, and you would have to assume the R7 might fall victim to that too. So whilst March 2022 might be wishful thinking, I don't think we'll be waiting too long. I would imagine by the time we get through into the summer of this year, we probably will be seeing something official about that camera. Maybe we will even have it released. Maybe we'll even have one in our hands right here on the channel. Come on, Canon. Come on, Canon, send me an R7. Let me share it with everybody on the channel. Let's do this. Now, I've done other videos about where the R7 is going to fit into the lineup. For me, I think it's going to be great. I think it really could work well alongside my Canon R6. I can really see myself making that pairing and actually using it in place of my 1DX with my R6 as my full frame and that R7 as a nice crop sensor APS-C body to go alongside it. I've made other videos talking about that, so check those ones out on the channel if you want to. But in the meantime, that just about rounds us off. That brings pretty much all the main information that I have found into one video. I hope you guys found it useful. If you did, do me a favour, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Hopefully we will see a Canon R7 right here on this channel very, very soon. In the meantime, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next video.